Let me give a quick introduction about myself. So my name is Vamshi, and I got around 13 years of experience in performance and performance engineering. Initially, I was into networking. I got Cisco certifications and all. And after that, I moved completely to performance testing and engineering. So I got good exposure in performance testing, mostly banking applications. Okay, and I got experience in monitoring tools as well. So I'll tell you what exactly these monitoring tools are, what is performance testing, why do we do performance testing and all that. Okay. So this is shortly about me. Let me start the demo. Let me give you a brief about why we do performance testing first. We should know why we are doing performance testing, going into performance testing, right? So these are, you're able to see my screen, right, everyone?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So these are few real world surveys. So according to these three surveys, according to the first survey, Amazon loses a turnover of 1% for extra 100 millisecond load time. So this tells you that you use Amazon application, right, for purchasing and all that. So according to this survey, Amazon loses a turnover. That means Amazon loses its business if the application speed is degrading. Like here, the application for extra 100 milliseconds load time, if the application speed is degrading, Amazon is losing a turnover of 1% here. 1% turnover for Amazon is huge, right? Amazon means for Amazon 1% turnover will be millions or billions of dollars. So what this tells you, if the performance of the application, if the speed is not good, then the users won't use the application. That will directly affect the application and company's turnover, right? And according to this second survey, Walmart, it sees 2% increase in its business for every 1 second load time improvement. The above survey is about degrading the performance. And here Walmart, whenever Walmart is seeing 1 second improvement in their speed, then it is seeing its business turnover is increasing to 2%. Again, what it is indicating, what this is indicating, performance is very important for every application, right? Again, according to the third survey, nearly 80% of online shoppers are dissatisfied with website performance and load times. Like there are many dissatisfactions, right? You are using Flipkart, Amazon. If you don't see your favorite product, if you don't see your favorite mobile phone or something, you'll be dissatisfied, right? And there are many other dissatisfactions, but most of the people will be very unhappy if the application is, again, speed of the application is very important. So according to these three surveys, what you are understanding with these three surveys, speed matters a lot, right, for an application. Okay, here is another survey. What these survey says is 57% of the visitors leave the site if the page takes more than 3 seconds, right? Like take any page, Amazon, Flipkart, any banking application, ICICI Bank or something. According to this survey, according to the people mindset, a person can wait nowadays a person can wait only 3 seconds, not more than that. According to this survey, 57% of the people will leave that website if the response time or if the speed is taking more than 3 seconds time for any application. And out of that, 80% of these don't come back to visit the website. If 57% low, again, 80% of the people out of this 57% will never come back to that website. That's what we do, right? And almost half of them communicate to their friends with a negative feedback. That's what we do, right? If the performance of Flipkart is not good, what we'll do? We'll call our friends and we'll ask them not to use that application. Like we have Paytm. People use Paytm a lot? No. People use Amazon a lot. People use Flipkart a lot. But Tata Click, Paytm, we go on. These are also, we have applications there also, we can buy products and all. But most of the people will use Amazon and Flipkart because major reason is performance of the application. Okay. So performance matters a lot for an application. Not only these e-commerce applications, can be banking applications, it can be insurance application, it can be any website, it can be any application. Performance is primary. Performance always plays a primary role. Okay. So now let's learn what is performance testing. Before I talk about performance testing, let's talk about functional and non-functional testing. What is functional testing? Most of you are functional testers, right? Manual testing and all, right? What is
Yes, sir.
functional testing? What do you do in functional testing?
Testing the functionality of the application, whether it is working according to client requirements.
Yes. So whether it is working or not, we'll test it. That means, for example, there is a login page and we'll log in with user ID and password. What does a functional tester test is if the password is supporting alphanumeric characters, if the password is supporting 16 characters or not, all these things. If the field is there, if are we after entering the fields, after clicking on submit, is that redirecting or not? All these things we'll be testing as a functional test, right? Now let's learn about what is non-functional testing. Whatever is not functional is a non-functional, right? See, our main focus in this non-functional testing is three things: speed, scalability, and stability. Okay. Performance testing comes under non-functional testing. So we doesn't do any functionality here. We don't care about functionality at all. But by the time we are testing the application, it should work functionally well. There should not be any functional issues by the time we are doing performance testing. Okay. That is why, first of all, development will happen in dev environment. After that, they'll do unit testing and all. And after that, SIT. After that, UAT testing. All this functional testing will happen. And finally, before go live, what will happen? Performance testing will happen just before go live. Okay. We will not do performance testing if the application functionality is not working properly. Okay. So application functional should be stable, functionality should work properly, then only we'll do performance testing. Because we will not worry about functionality in performance testing. But what we worry about? We worry about three things. These are those three things: speed, scalability, and stability. So this session and ongoing sessions for the next 30 days, our main goal is this. Whatever we are doing in Jmeter, load runner, scripting, execution, analysis, monitoring tools, performance testing, whatever we do, we at the end of the day, we care about only these three things: speed, scalability, and stability. So performance testing objectives are three S, three S's. You should remember this three S. First S is speed, second S is scalability, and third S is stability. What is speed? Till now, till now I told you about speed, right? If any application performance is taking time to load, then it is a problem. It should load quickly. So our main goal of performance testing is speed. This is our major goal. Okay. So application should be speed enough. All the pages should load quickly. So that is our primary goal. And performance testing technical term of the speed is response time. Okay. Response, we call it technically response time. But outside, no one will speak about response times. Normal users who are using this applications like Flipkart and Amazon, they'll tell that speed is not good. Speed is not good. But technically, in performance testing, we call that speed as response. So our main goal of performance testing is response time. Okay, that is our primary goal. And our next goal is a scalability. For example, take ICICI Bank or Amazon or Flipkart, any application. Okay. At this point of time, how many people will be using Amazon application or ICICI Bank or Flipkart? between 9 and 10, like just consider between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. on Monday. All over India, how many people will be using these applications? Thousands and thousands and thousands of users, right? Between 9 and 10, right? But so that is what scalability is. Application should respond quickly. Application speed should be good, even though the application is scaling up. That means while we are increasing the users also, application should respond quickly. So that is our second goal, right? At this point of time between 9 and 10, for example, 3,000 people are using ICICI Bank application all over India. Then we have to test our performance testing with how many users? 3,000 plus users or 3,000 users. Then only we'll come to know that our application is performing properly or not. If we test our application with 1 user or 10 users, then we cannot compare that with production, because in real time, how many users are using application? Between 9 and 10, 3,000 users. So we have to test our application with 3,000. That is what scalability is. While you are scaling your application up, then also your performance should be good. So that is your second goal. What is stability? Again, this graph itself indicates that that is scalability. How it is responding with 10 users, 50 users, 100 users, 1,000 users. While you are increasing the load, how your application is performing is scalability. But what is stability? What is stability? That is scalability again. Increasing the load, it should work properly, is scalability. But what is stability? Anyone? The graph is indicating you something. The graph is indicating you something. Yes. So, correct. Spike test. Okay. So stability is nothing but, I'll give you an example. There are some sales will happen in Amazon and Flipkart, right? Great Indian Festival for Amazon and big billion sale for Flipkart. So just think that in normal days, Amazon and Flipkart, maybe between 9 and 10, 5,000 to 6,000 users might be using the application. But during the sale period, like there will be 1 week sale, right? Big billion sale or Great Indian Festival. During that sale period, between 9 and 10, how many people will be using Amazon? It can be 10x, 20x also, like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. We don't know. But if you test your application with 5,000 users, like you calculate, if you take the normal days, between 9 and 10, you will think that only 5,000 users are using that application. If you test that application with 5,000 users, in normal days, it will be working properly. But what about sale days? That kind of testing also we need to do. So application should be stable enough in any conditions. In any extreme conditions, or be stable. So that is what stability will tell you. So even during sale periods, in that 1 week duration, users will increase. Users will purchase more and more products. For example, take OTT like Amazon, AHA. Yeah, recently Pawan Kalyan show జరిగింది. Okay, that time what will happen? Lots and lots of users will subscribe and lots of users will log into AHA and watch that particular show between 9 and 10. And what happened with Balakrishna's show earlier? You know, the news. What happened? Servers crashed. That is because of same reason. Suddenly spike came and servers crashed because they didn't do proper testing. Proper performance testing hasn't been performed. So that is the importance of performance testing. That's what will happen. You don't test your servers in with extreme conditions. Okay. So if spike testing would have happened for AHA properly, that situation wouldn't have happened. Okay. So these three things are very important for any kind of application: speed, scalability, and stability. If we satisfy these three requirements, then we are done with performance. Any doubts till this point? The next slide. These are the types of performance testing we perform. for any kind of application. Okay. Scalability, load testing, volume testing, endurance testing, stress testing, and spike testing. Let's talk about each and every testing here. Scalability. I just showed you what is scalability. What is scalability? We are increasing the users slowly from 100 to 200, 200 to 300, 300 to 500, 500 to 1000. That is called scalability. For any brand new application, we will start our performance testing with scalability test. What is brand new application? The application which is never in production. Application. If you got a new application from your customer and he is asking to do performance testing, you don't know the capacity of the application. It is never been in production. For the first time, it is going to production, and you have to do performance testing for that. What you will do? You have to slowly increase the user load, and you need to identify the breaking point of the application, where the application is crashing. If the application is crashing after 1000 users, if the application is crashing after 5000 users, you need to understand that breaking point. So you need to slowly increase the users. You need to test your application with 50 users first, 100 users first, 200, 500, 1000. How you need to test? I will talk that about tool later in my further classes. Just try to understand just about this testings for now. Okay. So slowly increasing the application until we get that breaking point. If the servers are crashing after 5000 users, then the application capacity is 5000. That is scalability. What is load testing? Scalability testing we do for any brand new applications, but load testing we do for any applications which are already in production, already in use, like any banking applications like ICICI Bank, any banking applications, or any e-commerce applications, or any insurance applications which are already people are using that application. Those applications we know with how many users we need to test those applications, right? We don't need to do scalability for that because we know between 9 and 10 how many users are using. We take that. If between 9 and 10 on Monday, how many users are using, like 5000 users are using, we will do load test with 5000. That is load test. Yes. And what is volume testing? Volume testing is nothing but it will test the database. So for any application, you have a web server, application server, and database server, right? So volume testing will test the database, will test the capacity of the database, how the database is performed. So what we'll do in this testing, it is just like load test, but before doing load test, we will increase the number of records in database. We will create lots and lots of, if we are doing performance testing for ICICI Bank application, before testing, we will do lots and lots of account creations, fund transfers, bill payments, and all that. What will happen by doing all that? The data will increase in database. Data storage will increase in database. After that increasing, after database storage reached 75%, 80%, we will do load test on that. That is volume. So the name itself indicating that how the application is behaving with extreme volume condition. Yes. Database testing ki increase the number of records. Create cheyali. Ela create cheyali. I mean, we have tools, right? Like we have Jmeter load runner. Using those tools, we will automate our scenarios like fund transfer, bill payments, and all that. We will automate in that tool, and we will run one load test before running the volume test. We will run one load test. Okay, load test run చేసిన తర్వాత what will happen? Database lo volume will increase, right? And after that we will do volume. And next test is endurance test. What is endurance test? Again, this diagram itself is indicating you that endurance testing, all the above testings we are doing for only 1 hour, because we are taking the production stats between 9 and 10, and we are giving that in our tests, right? Between 9 and 10 means it's 1 hour, right? So we are testing the above test, all the scalability, load testing, volume testing. We are testing for only 1 hour. But endurance testing, we will be testing for 14 hours, 20 hours, 24 hours continuously. Okay. Why do we do endurance testing? What is the reason for doing endurance testing? Endurance testing we do to identify the memory, to identify the memory leaks. What are memory leaks? For any application, we have servers, right? Application servers, database servers. For any application server, we have CPU and RAM, right? For example, in our laptops also, we have CPU and RAM, right? Where can we monitor our CPU and RAM in our laptop? Where can we monitor? Here, if you click on Task Manager, it goes here, right? Yeah. Here you have something called performance in our laptop. What you are seeing here, CPU of this particular laptop. And what is this? Memory of this particular laptop. This is RAM. The laptop RAM and the capacity 8 GB. And how much it consumed? Around 4 GB, right? The sagam, half, right? CPU. What is my laptop's CPU? i5, 6-core CPU, correct? And what is my CPU utilization? Again, it is around 30% or 40%, right? Same things we need to monitor while we are doing performance testing. Not our laptop. What we need to monitor? Our servers, right? Since it is a Windows laptop, I showed you like this. But our servers are based on, most of our application servers are based on which OS? Linux, right? So we need to monitor the CPU and memory utilizations of Linux servers, right? So why do we do endurance testing for long duration? That is our main question, right here. When we are doing load test for 1 hour, we cannot identify few performance bottlenecks, performance issues. Few performance issues we cannot identify. We are doing a test for short duration like 1 hour, 2 hour. When you are using if you are using your phone for long duration like 2 hours, 3 hours, a phone heat ekipothundu, heat అయిపోతుంది, right? అలాగే 5 hours, 6 hours continuous గా heat ఇంకా slow అయిపోతుంది. It becomes slow, right? What is happening there? Lots and lots of memory is being consumed. Me RAM utilize, me phone, even your smartphone is also having RAM, right? Even if you are using your phone for long duration, it will become heat first of all, and after that it will slowly slow down. Then what will happen? You need to clear few cache and all that, and you have to restart your phone, then it will work, right? Same case here. If you use your phone for 1 hour, it will not get heat and it will not slow down. But if you use your phone for long duration, these issues might come. Same thing you can relate with the actual applications. If you are testing load testing for 1 hour, you can see only few performance bottlenecks. Not if you want to see how your application is behaving for long duration, then you need to do endurance testing. Then only you will come to know your RAM capacity of your application. That is why we do endurance testing, right? So we do endurance testing for 14 hours to 20 hours, 24 hours based on the requirement. Okay. Next one is stress testing. Again, this diagram itself is indicating you that load testing, we will conduct load testing for how many users? The application is supporting 6,000, the production flow. We have 6,000 users between 9 and 10. We will do load test with 6,000, right? But if you want to do a stress test for that application, you have to do that with 12,000 users, 10,000 users. Yes, we need to increase it, not slowly increase. We need to increase it to 12,000 and test it for 1 hour. Why we do stress testing? What is the reason? No, that is spike testing. For that we have spike testing. Why do we do stress testing? For Future trend analysis. What is trend analysis? For example, for now, ICICI Bank might be having might be using 6,000 users between 9 and 10. After 4 years also, 5,000 users are between 9 and 10. New registrations will happen in 4 years. New accounts will get created. After 4 years, between 9 and 10, there can be 10,000 users or 12,000 users, right? That testing also you need to do now on. Future analysis, future trend analysis testing. Okay. So you need to think that how many registrations will happen, how many accounts will be created in our application future law. So you need to analyze that and you need to test that condition now itself. Your business people will give you all these requirements. Okay. And your final testing is spike test. You can relate this spike testing with stability testing, right? Stability. So spike testing will tell you how your application is behaving in extreme conditions during sale hours, Great Indian Festival, Big Billion Sale. Suddenly, when your users are increasing, how your application is behaving, and suddenly you can decrease. So this is how you need to test. Suddenly you need to increase the use, suddenly decrease, again increase, decrease. So sudden spikes you need to give to your application intentionally. You need to check if your application is stable or not. So these are 6 types of tests, but out of all these 6, we generally concentrate on only 2 tests. One is load test. Load test is important. This is the test which we do regularly. Okay. Because we are doing this test with our production load to check if our application is performing well or not. So mainly we do load test. And second important test is endurance. Both these tests are very important. Remaining tests we will do based on special requirements. Generally, don't do all these tests. We'll do based on special requirements like stress tests and all that. We do on time basis because we have monthly nowadays releases are monthly releases. We will not get more and more time to do lots of performance tests, right? So generally we do only load test. If we have time, we do endurance test, and that's it. This is our performance testing life cycle. What is life cycle? What is this testing life cycle? You know SDLC and STLC, right? For developers, we have software development life cycle SDLC. For testers, functional testers, we have STLC, right? For performance also, we have performance testing life cycle. Okay, it will be similar to our functional testing life cycle. STLC similar not. So what is the first stage of performance testing life cycle? Requirement gathering. Second stage, performance test strategy or plan of a document. Third stage, performance test design. Fourth one, performance test execution. Fifth one, performance test analysis, and finally, recommendation, benchmarks and recommendation. Okay, I will explain each and every stage today. And from tomorrow, I will start with the first stage, second stage, third stage, fourth stage. Slow start just at the actual classes. Okay, I'll talk you about all these stages now. Brief. Okay, let's talk about the first one. What is this requirement gathering? What requirements are we gathering here? Non-functional requirements. I told you, performance is all about non-functionality. It's not about functionality. I think if you are doing a functional testing or manual testing, what requirements you will gather? Functional requirements. But yet, since we are doing performance testing, what requirements we need to gather? Non-functional requirements. So if it is functional requirements, what will you gather? Same functionality things. Application like how many characters does the password supports? If the password support alphanumeric characters or not, and all these things, all the functional related activities like this, right? But here we are gathering non-functional requirements. Examples of non-functional requirement gathering is what is the expected response time? What is the expected response time of each and every screen? What is the expected response time of login page? What is the expected response time of fund transfer? You are giving from account to account, giving amount, and what you are clicking on? Submit. How much time it is taking to load that page? What is the expected time? Okay. What is the expected time for bill payment? We can do bill payments also, right? In any banking application, gas bill, internet bill. Yeah, we'll have bill payment functionalities also. Like bill payment scenarios. What is the expected time for any bill while we are doing any bill payment? Yes, all these are response time related non-functional requirements. These we call as a response time SLAs. What is SLA? Anyone? What is SLA? SLA. Service level agreement. Okay. Here we are gathering non-functional requirements. And what we gathered? First non-functional requirement enti? Response time SLAs. SLAs and service level agreement. That means the agreement between client and you. Eku client ki majhe okay agreement undu. What is that agreement? This page should load only within 5 seconds. Your client will tell you my login page should load within 5 seconds. Okay, or 10 seconds. And my fund transfer submit button should load within 5 seconds. And my bill payment should take only 7 seconds. All these are response time SLS, service level agreements. This is an agreement between client and the company, client and you. Right? So that is your first non-functional requirement, response time SLA. And what is the second non-functional requirement? How many users does your application support? Yes, between you are doing a load test for 1 hour. How many users does your application support? That is another. If it is 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, that is another non-functional requirement. So number of users. First one is response time SLAs. Second one is number of users. And third one, number of transactions. Third one is number of transactions. What is transaction? Correct. So when you are doing fund login is one transaction. Launch is one transaction. Launch tarvata em chestunaru meeru login is one transaction. After that you are clicking on fund transfer menu. That page will load. That is one more transaction. And after that you are giving from account to account and you are giving amount. And after that what you are doing? You are clicking on submit. That is your fourth transaction. But selecting from account, selecting to account, that doesn't count as a transaction. Why? Academy page load avatలేదు. You are not clicking on any button. Whenever you are clicking on any link or any button, that is considered as one transaction. Yeah, transaction or a request. Yeah, right. So how many transactions should you complete after your load test? You are doing load test for a banking application. As part of that, you have fund transfers, have account creations, have to do performance testing for bill payments and all that, right? For everything, you have transactions. If you need to do performance testing for bill payment, you need to launch your application, log in your application, go to bill payment menu, you need to pay the bill, and finally log off. You have 5 transactions. Same way for fund transfer also. You have to log in, you have to launch, log in, fund transfer menu. You need to give from account to account and give the amount and submit. If you are getting any OTP, again you need to give the OTP and again submit, and finally log off. 6 transactions here, right? And that too, you are doing this load test for 1 hour. If you are doing with one user, you will see 6 transactions for fund transfer. You will see 5 transactions for bill payment, right? But you are doing this for how many users? Thousands and thousands of users, right? Because one of your non-functional requirement is to test with number of users. So you are doing all these scenarios with thousands of users, right? So when you are doing with thousands of users for 1 hour, transactions అనేవి కూడా యూస్ అవుతుంటాయి. So how many thousands of transactions should happen after you load test? Your one requirement, one non-functional requirement. So these are your three non-functional requirements, my main non-functional requirements, right? One is response time SLA. Second one is number of users. Third one is number of transactions. ఇవి ఎన్ని అచీవ్ చేయాలి మనం అనేది యువర్ క్లయింట్ షుడ్. Okay. Another non-functional requirement is, as I said earlier, I showed you CPU and memory utilization switch on me in my laptop performance. Same thing you need to monitor while you are doing load test. You need to monitor that in your servers, right? So there is a SLA, there is a non-functional requirement for this server monitoring also. CPU should take only 75% or less than that, not more than. CPU utilization must be 75%. Memory utilization must be 75%. So this is one more non-functional requirement, because while we are doing load test, normal cases lo kaakunda while we are doing load test, your CPU and memory will increase, right? It should not cross 75%. That is another requirement. Okay. So all these are called non-functional requirements. So all these are called as SLAs, service level agreements. Ivanni agreements. Take your response time, take your number of users, number of transactions, CPU, memory utilization. Ivanni, all these are agreement between your client and you. So all these are called non-functional requirements and also SLAs, service level agreements. If any of these SLAs are, if any of these requirements are going beyond your SLA, that means you did load test, you performed a load test, and your login transaction response time is going beyond 10 seconds. Is coming around 20 seconds or 30 seconds. That means your response time is going beyond your SLA. Then there is an issue that you need to analyze, right? This is what you need to do. You just need to gather all these requirements in the first stage, and that is what you need to do in the first stage. You need to gather all these non-functional requirements. And what is the second stage? Whatever non-functional requirements you gathered in the first stage, you need to prepare a test strategy or test plan here, and you need to put all those requirements in this document. You just need to prepare a document here. You just need to write project overview, application architecture ఉంటుంది అందులో. Okay, what you are testing. If you are testing fund transfer, bill payments, and all that, you need to write it there in that document. And what are your non-functional requirements, you need to write in that document, right? I'll show you how that document looks like. That is your second stage. And what is my third stage? Performance test design. Here comes our tool, our Jmeter tool, right? So the market. So what you do in design phase? So finally, in first stage, you gathered your requirements. Second stage, you prepared a document, right? A document, you need to get approval from your manager and client. And after that, you need to start your testing. So before doing testing, straight away, you cannot do your testing with 3,000 users, right? How can you do testing with 3,000 users? You cannot do testing with 3,000 users manually, right? Manual testing and everything you do manual. Because you do manual testing with only one user. But here, performance testing. You have to do this performance testing with how many users? 3,000, 5,000 users, right? So you cannot gather 5,000 users in a single room and you cannot ask them to test, right? Company మొత్తం కూర్చొని చేయాలి. That can't happen. So what is the other way? That is why we have performance testing tools, right? So we have different tools like in the market. Have several tools in performance testing in the market, right? So these are the tools. What are these tools? Load runner, Jmeter, and Load. So there are several tools, but these are the most used tools in the market now. Load runner, Jmeter, and Load. So out of these three tools, Load runner was highly used tool. Till few years ago, load runner people are using a lot, but nowadays the load runner usage was decreasing, load runner usage is decreasing, and this Jmeter usage is increasing. The only reason ఏంటంటే load runner is a licensed tool. Load runner is a licensed tool and Jmeter is a open source. Okay? Jmeter is free of cost. Anyone like to go open your laptop, install Jmeter and do your scripting, and you can run your test with any number of users. అంతే. ఓకే, కంపెనీలో చేయాల్సిన పని లేదు, మీరు ల్యాప్టాప్ లో మీరు కూడా చేసుకోవచ్చు Jmeter. So Jmeter is an open source. That is why most of the clients are recommending Jmeter, because they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay anything for the tool. Okay, that is why most of the people, most of the companies, most of the clients are recommending Jmeter nowadays. Okay, in few companies or for few applications, people are still using load runner, but as I said, Jmeter usage is increasing a lot. So in my section, from tomorrow onwards, I will be talking only about this Jmeter tool, because our most of the requirements outside is all about Jmeter nowadays. Yes, and in the final class, after I complete Jmeter, then in couple of classes I will take load runner also for your interview needs. Yes, because in your interviews, if you give Jmeter in your profile, they'll ask you completely about Jmeter, but they will test you basic knowledge of load runner also. Basic knowledge unte better. So that basic knowledge I'll give you in couple of sessions at the end. Okay, so this should be enough. Neoload is not needed for you now. Okay, so these are the mostly used tools, and load runner, as I said, it is licensed, and Neoload is also licensed, and Jmeter is an open source tool. Okay, so when I talk about load runner has three components. Load runner has three components. Vugen is one component. We call it virtual user generator. Okay, next, controller and analyzer. These are the three components of load runner. So load runner Vugen is used for scripting. Load runner controller is used for execution. Load runner analyzer is used for analysis, right? But whereas when it comes to Jmeter, it has only a single user interface, single tool. A single tool lone, Jmeter single tool lone, we can do scripting, execution, analysis, everything in a single tool. Okay. So let me come back to this previous slide once. So I'm talking about this performance test design phase, right? What do we do in performance test design phase? We have to do scripting in this phase. Why do we need to do scripting? Because as I said, this is not a manual test. We cannot gather thousands of people, and we cannot do performance testing manually, right? So we need to automate our scenarios, right? What are our scenarios here? Bill payment, fund transfer, account creation, money. You need to do performance testing for these things. You need to write some scripts so that it will run automatically. For that, have these tools where you can do scripting, right? That scripting will happen in this third phase, performance test design. So you will do scripting for fund transfer, you will do scripting for bill payment, you will do scripting for account creation, all that, right? After that, after you are done with your scripting, what is your next stage? Performance test execution. So here you are done with your scripting, and while you are doing execution, you need to execute your script. When you are executing your scripts, you have to execute with users, right? You have to execute with lots of users. You need to increase the users there, and you can execute that, so that you can increase your users and execute that, so that your machine will take care of everything. You don't need to do any manual activity. Okay. And finally, once you are done with your execution of your tests, what is your next stage? Performance test result analysis. That's what you need to do, right? The execution cycle, you cannot sit calmly. You need to do analysis. What analysis you will do? First stage lo em gather chestam manam? SLS, like response time SLS, CPU utilization should be like this and all that, right? Are you achieving that or not? To do that analysis, this fifth stage. Are you getting right response times? You have to prepare a report here and check that. Are you achieving your transaction count? Transactions is also one SLA. Are you achieving that? That also you need to check here. Are you achieving number of users? Anyway, we will give that also we can check. And again, are you achieving your CPU and memory utilization threshold, which is 75%, or is it going beyond 75%? Anything which is less than 75% is fine. If it is going beyond, if it is going to 90%, there is an issue. That also you need to test. So all that monitoring and analysis you need to do here, right? And finally, in sixth stage, you will prepare a report and you will share it with the clients, and you have to give a walkthrough to them. This is what we have done. This is what we have achieved. These are our NFRs. These are our NFR these are our SLAs. NFRs and non-functional requirements. Okay, these are our SLAs, and this is how we achieved our SLAs. Okay, all that you give to your client. And there are any performance issues while you are doing testing, you need to write those observations in your report. And you need to give the required recommendation. So that is your final stage. While I'm starting my session from tomorrow, I will cover with from first stage onwards. How do you gather your NFRs? Okay, NFR gathering ela chestaru. What is workload modeling? What do you do with that workload modeling? Okay, how do you prepare a test strategy or test plan? After that only I'll go to tool. Okay, so tomorrow I'll cover these two stages, because you need to know these two stages. But if you are joining in your companies as 2+ or 3+ years experience, you don't need to do this first two stages. They'll give you 3 and 4. Scripting, execution. Okay, but you need to know, because performance testing lo manual testing, functional testing la kakunda, you have very less team in performances. Like if you are a functional tester, you might be a huge team, kada? Large teams sometimes. You have a test lead in the, you have 10-15 people, and you have a manager and all that. Performance testing lo experience periga koddi, once you gain some experience, if you go to 6+, 7+, and 8+, you have to do entire performances. They'll just give you a project. You have to do from first stage till sixth stage. మీ మేనేజర్ మీకు అప్పుడప్పుడు వచ్చి అడుగుతాడు, when he don't know what you are doing, because you don't know performances. You are the only expert in performances. So while you are gaining the experience, you have to do all these stages. But for now, with 3+ or 4 years experience, you have to do only 3 and 4 stages. But you need to know what we do in this first and second stage, and 5th to 6th kuda very important, right? Because while after you join your companies, you have to involve in all these 6 stages. Then 3 or 4 chestanu, middle stage lo naaku sambandham ledani kuchunte, you will not understand anything, right? So tomorrow onwards, I'll start with first stage, I'll go to second stage. Tomorrow I'll complete this first stages. Okay, from day after tomorrow onwards, I will start with day after tomorrow, or maybe on Wednesday onwards, I'll start with scripting. The tool, Jmeter tool, third stage loss. First 2 stages will be little boring, little documentation, little analysis avi untayi, requirement gathering etla chestamani. Okay, make sure you don't sleep, padukoddu. Okay, because it will be interesting when I go to third stage. Till that, please bear with me, because you need to know this first. These are the tools, and this is my content course. How you see the Jmeter installation, all that I will tell you day after tomorrow onwards. But tomorrow I'll cover the first stages. Okay, this is my content course. So I'll cover all these contents like scripting, building fundamentals, Jmeter fundamentals enti. Okay. How do you record? How to understand the requests and responses in the Jmeter? How do you record a script? Okay. And all these things like har file to JMX conversions, and how do you execute a scenario, and what are different types of controls. And from here, it is very important. Okay. There are different types of elements in Jmeter like logic controller, timers, config elements, assertions, listeners, pre-process, post-process. All these are very important. Prati element, these are called Jmeter elements. Prati element ki has its own importance. Okay, element మీరు miss అయినా, you cannot do entire performance in your project. So you need to know each and every element here. And after covering all these elements, I'll give you a mid project. After that, I'll go to advanced Jmeter topics like bean shell scripting, Jmeter distributed testing and non-GA mode lo, how do we run Jmeter in non-GA mode? All these are very, very important. Without this, you cannot do your projects in your real time. So this is what I'll be covering. And after mid project, these are advanced Jmeter topics like initial programming and like Jmeter distributed testing. Server, how do we do server monitoring? Like how do we monitor our CPU and memory utilization of a server using Jmeter itself? And it's got a topic. Okay. And how do we run our Jmeter tests in non-GA mode? Without opening Jmeter, we have to run. We can run load tests in Jmeter. That also is very important. And how do we do API performance testing? APS tells web service calls. That is also very important. So all these things are comes under advanced Jmeter topics. I'll cover these things. And finally, once I cover all these things, I will tell you how to crack your interviews in Jmeter. I'll give you 50 interview questions. Okay, I'll give you 50 Jmeter interview questions. So mostly your questions comes in that 50 questions on whatever they'll be asking in your interviews, that will be covered in those 50 questions. మిమ్మల్ని డైరెక్ట్ గా అడగచ్చు, ఇండైరెక్ట్ గా అడగచ్చు, but it will be in those 50 questions only. That's it for today. So tomorrow we can start with our first class. Any doubts you can ask me now, or
Yeah.
else we can close the call.
Yeah, sir, I'm Srinivas here.
Yes, Srinivas.
Yeah, so for actually we are working on manual testing, right?
Yes.
So for this one, any programming skills we should have?
No, not required.
Not
Whatever
Okay.
you need, I'll be covering that.
Yeah, because in our class you told that we have the test script, right? Because as a manual tester, we will write the test case and test script. But in Jmeter, we have to write the scripts. So any basic knowledge of scripts we require?
No, not required, because we are not going to write the scripts. We are going to record the script here, Jmeter. మనం రికార్డ్ చేస్తాం, స్క్రిప్ట్ ఆటోమేటిక్ గా వచ్చేస్తుంది. Script will come automatically. We just need to record the script.
Okay.
But few things like correlation, parameterizations, all these concepts will come. How to handle that and all, I'll cover in the class.
Okay.
That is not a big coding. Big coding ఏమి ఉండదు. Okay.
Okay. So Jmeter is only recording and that one only, sir, or we have to write, means basic script also not required to write?
No, not required.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Got it.
But one topic is there, as I told you here, bean shell programming. Okay.
Okay.
This is one topic where you need, see, for this also you don't need any scripting knowledge now. I will cover whatever whatever is required for this also, I will cover in my class only. So you don't need to learn anything. You don't need to know any scripting. I myself, I don't know any scripting language. I don't know Java coding and all. Okay. Long back I learned, sorry?
Yeah, tell me, can you answer?
Yeah, long back I learned core Java. I don't remember anything. So whatever is needed for you for Jmeter scripting and execution, I'll cover here itself.
Okay.
Okay.
And one more thing, because as a manual testing, if we get any defects, we will raise the bugs or issues.
Yes,
But
yes.
as a performance tester, if we got any issues,
Hmm.
So shall we have to inform them directly to the client, or we have to raise any issues in that way?
First answer, you need to inform directly to your managers and clients.
Okay.
Okay, there
Yeah.
is no defect management in performance testing. You don't need to raise any defects. Why do we raise defects in functional
Okay.
testing or manual testing? Because you get lots of functionality defects, right?
Yes, right. Yeah.
In this case, you have only, if there is any defect, there will be only one defect, response times. And then,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
server utilization, two defects on that.
Okay.
When your performance testing will fail, if your response times are high, that will be the only defect. Why to raise a defect? Directly, you can write an email to your clients or managers, give your report to
Okay.
them, and you can schedule call. You have to schedule call with them. That's it. There is no, you don't need to track your defects anywhere.
Okay. Not require the screenshots also to show the response, right?
No,
Right, sir?
no, yeah.
Thank you. Got it.
You just do all that in email only. You don't need to raise any defects in Jira or something.
Okay.
But project, see, company ki, if it might change, right? For example, in a particular company, if your manager is asking you to raise any defects, then you have to raise. You take a screenshot. You take your results and raise a defect in Jira. What is wrong in that? Yeah, but in
Yeah,
most
got
of the cases, there won't be any. You don't need to raise any defects. I'm not raising any defects in my current organization.
sure, sir. Got it.
If there are any issues with performance, then you have to write an email to your clients and managers, and you need to schedule a call and discuss with them. That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine then. Let's close and we'll meet tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.